Hi everybody, Malice here with another video, and I'm going to be starting somewhat of a periodic series that I'm going to call In Defence Of, where I pick a particular unit that is sort of maligned and unloved by certain fraternities within both the Necron and the Custodes player bases, and kind of make a defence for them and some of the quirkier uses for them, or why I even like said units in question. Today we're going to start off with the Hexmark Destroyer from the Necrons. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I love destroyers, so by default the Hexmark gets a thumbs up from me. But let's take a look under the hood of the Hexmark Destroyer to see exactly what we have to work with. So what you have is a reasonably quick, moderately tough, 3+ armor save, toughness 5, it's solid if unspectacular. 5 wounds again for, well, it is a character, so it's kind of on the lower end of the scale, almost made up mini characters, shall we say, in terms of that number. And then when we come to its payload, so it has its pistols, it can shoot them 6 times. Well, it has 6 arms on the model, so yeah. Hits on 2s, pretty decent strength at 6, and a pretty good hit. And I suppose, depending on your targets, which is where I'll come into shortly, the AP and damage could be considered a little wet. Now, I say depending on targets because this comes to my first point of defence. When the Hexmark Destroyer was first introduced with, if memory serves, the 9th edition Necron Codex, a lot of people, myself included, thought finally we were going to get a Necron assassin, if you like, a dedicated character killer. It's not going to be much good against anything else. It's going to be a one-trick pony, but it's going to have a very handy trick to have. It didn't quite work out that way stat-wise. The guns have, its weapons have slightly improved. It's got a bit more punch on the armour now. But still, it's not the character killer a lot of people were hoping for. So, and as such, it got maligned. With taking 9th edition into mind when the Force organisation charts was still a thing, it was in the elite section, a very congested area of that particular version of the Necron Codex. So I started having a look and a think when it came to the Hexmark, and then it came to me. It's not a character killer. It's somewhat of a room clearer. And I can think, now, before you look at me going, Malice, what are you talking about? Well, if you look at its weapons, they are perfectly designed to shred lower armoured troops. So we're talking things like your Gaunts from the Tyranids, your Imperial Guardsmen, your Eldar Guardians, Tau Fire Warriors even, Orcs, that sort of thing. It's perfectly equipped to shred them, and indeed in the previous edition it could shred them very well with one of the abilities it had where if it killed something it could shoot again. That ability has changed ever so slightly now, and the fact that if something attacks a fellow Necron unit within 3 of the Hexmark Destroyer can now shoot what's attacking that unit. So it can land some pot shots in. So like say if we have that, for example, that charging unit, that 30 strong charging unit of Orc boys, bearing down on, say, your Lish Guard unit with your Overlord in it, this little dude can take 6 of that number down without breaking a relative sweat. Of course, assuming the walls go in your favour. The other thing that makes the Hexmark very nice is it's in an exclusive club of 1 when it comes to the Fire Overwatch stratagem. This is the other ability it has currently. So not only can it use the stratagem for free, so you don't have to spend a command point to do it, the kicker of that is you always hit on a 2+. Again, you have the unit charging. Now, if you have lucky rolls, if it's a beefier unit, you might be able to chip a few wounds off it. If it's a horde type unit charging towards you, again using the mob of 30 Orc Boys example, you can whittle nearly not far short of a third of that mob down with 1 round of shooting. And of course, with it being a character and having that keyword, you can give it enhancements. So you can make it tougher, you could give it, say, another weapon, that sort of thing. So, another kicker it has to help its survivability is it has the lone operative wibble. So, what does the lone operative wibble do? Well, unless a target is within 12 inches of it, the Hexmark cannot be touched. You can't shoot it, you can't fight it, anything like that. Essentially, as long as it has that 12-inch arm's reach away from you, the Hexmark, its so survivability when it comes to its toughness, armor save and wounds is mitigated somewhat by the fact you can't attack it. The other reasonable mounted defense for the Hexmark is, like I've mentioned before in previous videos and again in this one, I really do love destroyers. So yeah, what do you guys think of the Hexmark Destroyer? Let me know in the comments, and until the next time, I shall see you later. Bye.